Probably the most prominent detail on the cab here, on the exterior of the cab, is the rear view mirrors. Why don't we work on these? I'll see if we can find another image of this. This is pretty good, but let's see if there's at least one more that we can work with. How about this one, this number 13? Let's try this. We zoom in here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I think these are two good examples of it. This one's probably a little clearer, so maybe we'll use this one the most. There are some details back here that I don't think we need, but generally speaking, the tubes here and the two mirrors and then these cylinders here, I think, all would be good to have here on the vehicle. So let's first clean up the outliner a little bit. Let's see what we have here. Well, not a whole lot. We could take these and move them up into the vehicle main like that. There we go. And then, so let's see what we have. We've got the wheels. Yep, they seem to be in the proper place. And the vehicle main, right, and the chains. So yeah, I think we've got everything in place there. Let's click on the top scene collection here. And I think we should probably begin this with a path and create a tube from this the way we did the tubing down here on the steps. So let's go to the front view here. And I don't think I need the reference images right now. These are good, but they're at an angle, and I'm afraid that'll kind of throw me off. If we take a look at the top view, you can see they're here at an angle. So I don't think I want them here while I'm creating it. When we go to place it, this, of course, will be useful, but I think for now I'm going to turn off the reference images here. So now what let's do is just press Shift-A, and let's go to Curve and create a path. Now let's take that path and just move it up, and I think I'm just going to move it up kind of right over here. And what I want to do is use this right here as the bottom of the tubing here. And then I'm going to extrude up and over and back for the rest of the shape. So let's tab into edit mode, and I'll deselect, and I'll just select this point right here. And let's extrude up. I'll just hit E and Z, and we'll pull up a bit. And you can see the curve happening there. That's going to be this curve here. We can take this point and kind of move it in like this, and use these 2 points to get the shape of the curve that we want here. So from there, let's go ahead and continue to extrude up. I'll hit E and Z and pull up here. And we're not going to really know exactly where we want things to be until we get all of this in. And then we can select points and move them around. But for now, let's go up to about here. And I'll hit E and Z one more time, because as you can see down here, this curve is really created with 3 points. So if I create the 2 points here, then I'll extrude off in the x-axis this way. So let's hit E and X, and then let's move it over here. So something like that. So we get kind of a nice curve there for the top here. Then let's hit E and X and move over here. Then I'll hit E and X one more time, and then E and Z and pull down for this curve right there. Now this is at an angle, so I better kind of pull this out some like this. And then let's hit E, and I'll just pull this in this direction here, like that. Let's hit E, and I'll pull down to here, and then E, and I'll go this way. And then let's hit E and X and go ahead and pull all the way over here. All right, so how'd we do? Well, not too bad, but I feel like there's some places that aren't exactly proportional to what we're seeing over here. First of all, I think I want to grab this entire thing here and pull it up a bit. Right, so we have a little more space between these. And then let's take a look at it here again in object mode. I think we could probably grab this point and move it over a bit. Maybe move this one down a bit. There we go. Then maybe let's try border selecting these points and maybe moving them over just a bit in the X like this. Let's try that. Yeah, okay. I think that's pretty close. I think that's what I want. So now what we need to do is actually make a tube out of this path. So we're going to need to get to this panel down here. Let me kind of scrunch these up just a bit here so we can see this panel a little better. Let's scroll down, and down here under bevel, we need to increase the depth. So I'll click on this and maybe hold the shift key down. And let's try and get it about the size that we want, about like that maybe. Maybe a little smaller. Let's try that. How about that? There we go. Now we need to deal with the resolution. So currently, if we come over here, let's see how many sides we have here. We've got quite a few. If I hit the Z key and go to wireframe, you can kind of see how many sides we have. If I take the resolution down to 0, we've got 4 sides. If I take it up to 1, we've got 6. And if we take it up to 2, we've got 8. And I think 8 looks pretty good. In addition, we need to deal with all of these edges in here, and that's just too many. We don't need all of this. So that's controlled by this resolution preview U up here. So let's start taking this down and see how far we can get before it completely breaks down and quits looking like a curved object. And well, here it is at 1. So at 1, that's too much, or that's not enough, I should say. So let's take it up to 2. Still could be a little bit better on this curve here. Let's take it up to 3. See, now that's probably about the minimum we could do and still have it look fairly good. Yeah, let's go with 3 on that particular field. When we actually convert this to a mesh, we can go in and remove some of these edges, just dissolve edges, the ones that we don't actually need in between the curves. So we can do that too to reduce the polygon count. So let's go ahead and convert it to a polygon and work on that. With this selected, I can right-click and choose Convert to Mesh. And that will change it from, when we hit the Tab key here, change it from a path to polygons. So let's go ahead and right-click and click Convert to Mesh. Now if we hit the Tab key, we can see we've got our polygons here. And here is where we can go in and begin removing some of these edges. We don't need all of these. So let me just maybe grab these and see how this works. I'll hit X and dissolve edges. Yeah, so that's pretty good. We could probably dissolve some of these in here. Let's try this. And I'm trying not to get too close to the curve because I do want that full curve and that transition into straight there. And in here, it looks like we could take a few out here. So let me grab this one, this. I think I'll leave the rest there. Yeah. All right, so there we have that main tubing. Let's also go ahead and add this tube right here. So if we tab into edit mode, I think I'm going to need another edge in here ultimately. So I'm going to put an edge right there. And then I'll go ahead and select this edge, turn on my move gizmo, and then let's put that cursor right there between those two. Now we should be able to create a cylinder right here. And what did we do? We did 8 sides on this tube, didn't we? So let's go ahead and just create a cylinder with 8 sides. And let's make it so it does not have a cap fill here. And I'll take this down to 0.1. And there we go. Okay, so now if we scale this down a bit, we could probably go something about like this, I think, and get this piece right here. So is that in the right place though? I feel like it needs to come over this way a bit. Yeah, something like that. So now if we take this and shift click this, and then we can press Control J and join them together. Let's go ahead and smooth. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so we have the basic tubing there. What I'd like to do too is get this piece right here. It kind of goes from tube to flat. And I think we need that for the connection to the hinge. We aren't going to create all this detail for the hinge, but I think we do need that little flat piece to kind of connect it to that. So what let's do is take these edges, Alt click and Alt Shift click, and let's move them over here. And what I want to do is take these edges here, move them back just a bit, and then collapse them down. So if we tumble around here, now if I hit S and Z currently, this is what happens, right? We don't want that. What I want to do is collapse them flat individually. So to do that, we can come up here and go to individual origins, or of course we can hit the period key and choose individual origins here. Now when we hit S and Z, they each individually flatten up like that. And then what we can do is extrude them out, EX, like that. Now we've got those pieces that can be connected onto that hinge. So what I'll do here, we probably will need to close these up. So let's take this edge and this one and this one and this one, these 4 edges here, and let's use that grid fill again. Let's go to Face, Grid Fill, and that will grid fill that whole thing, giving us 4-sided polygons. So that's kind of nice. Let's do the same thing down here. And we'll take these 4 edges, go up here to Face, Grid Fill. There we go. All right. So now that we have that tubing, what let's do in the next video is work on creating the mirrors here and these little cylinders that connect them to the tubing.